Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, as you see what's going on a lovely island of Fawnhollow today. What should we talk about today? Well, that's a very good question, and one I don't have really much of a way of an answer for you. You know what I was thinking about? Okay, hold on. how do I set up a conversation to a bit without just sort of springing it on you? Basically, oh gosh, I hope you didn't hear that. It was one of the wires on my audio interface going a bit weird. But I was watching videos, and you know how much I like video essays about that sort of thing. Usually I watch it for video games and analyses and that sort of thing. Hold that for. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow, it's 2:29 PM on Wednesday, July 27th, 2022. So if it's just staying up campsite. Sorry, my throat feels a bit weird. Yeah, you know how much I like video essays and that sort of things. Usually I watch them for video games and that sort of thing, because that's kind of a media I consume most. But just randomly, I was recommended one about Riot Arcane, which, you know, you can find my thoughts about Riot Arcane if you are if you're curious about them. Well, whenever it came out, I don't know, you can just probably search on my channel. I talked about it. Basically, the long and short of it is I think it's utterly fantastic. Probably literally the best TV series I've ever watched, both from like a storytelling perspective, and its animation is beautiful. And you know how much I appreciate some good animation. Anyway, sorry, I was being felt very out of character when I was doing it. It probably felt even more out of character listening to it, but I was just going like, that's not really something I do. But anyway, I was looking around this guy's channel or whatever, because I was like, oh, you know, I'm curious about that sort of thing. And he actually did quite a few videos about different things. And I was looking through his channel. I was like, he's done a lot of things about BoJack Horseman. And I was like, oh yeah, BoJack Horseman. I forgot about that. 2015? No. 2016 maybe? Netflix series or whatever about that animated horse who's depressed or something, or has like a really tough life. I don't really know what BoJack Horseman's about, but it's a sort of thing where I've sort of like learnt a reasonable amount about it through osmosis. You know, the sort of like you pick up things about certain media properties just by looking at memes, you know, hearing people talk about it, etc, etc. And BoJack Horseman's one of the ones it's actually one that I've been told, not necessarily, but I've been like on my list to watch, which doesn't really exist. It's one of the shows that I'm like, I should definitely watch that at some point, but I don't have Netflix, and I've never really intended to get Netflix. And I suppose now I kind of have access to Netflix, but it's sort of like even then it seems like a bit, as I say with TV series, it feels like a big commitment, I suppose, to actually watch them. But at some point I should definitely watch it. Like, initially, I wasn't planning to watch it because, you know, I like animation, that sort of thing. BoJack Horseman's not exactly, I don't know if it's particularly well known for its animation or that sort of thing, but, you know, it's also sort of like a TV series, and a lot of times the TV series, they often have to have something which is very easily animatable for them, you know, to actually churn out the episodes. Otherwise, things takes too long. You can't, like, hand-draw an entire TV series. Well, yeah, I guess you could, but it'd be very expensive. Sorry, let me have a sip of water. I'm like, my throat is dying here. Anyway, BoJack Horseman is apparently a thing which is very well known for, I suppose, tackling a lot of issues about like humanity, human condition, like seeing the good and dark sides of people and their psyches and whatnot. And the things I've heard so much about BoJack Horseman is that the characters in it are really great, and like the story arcs that the show goes through are fantastic, which is, you know, incredible to hear about, I suppose, in the first place, because, you know, I like shows which have, or any media property with strong focus on the characters. So I decided to watch a couple of the episodes here about BoJack Horseman, because, you know, sort of like, I don't really mind getting spoiled about TV shows, and then, you know, I feel like all my things are just like, say, conversational point. I talked about this before. See, you know, episode 368 or something if you want to see my my thoughts on that sort of thing. But I talked about spoilers before and how I'm not really bothered by them. But, you know, I didn't want to spoil too much, obviously. So I watched one because I was sort of like looking through it, and I was like, this one seems like it'd be good. And I should really find out what the channel's called. I don't remember what the channel's called, but I remember the video's called. It was about a character called Princess Caroline, who is one of like the two characters I actually know on that show. I know she's a pink cat, and she's like a girl boss. That's all I really know about her, and, you know, that's sort of like, you know, shown again, I suppose, through like that story about Osmosis. What BoJack Horseman teaches us about character arcs, savage books, and I watched it because, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I got mildly sort of drawn in by the clickbait. Or the, well, it's not really clickbait because it's not really bait, but you know, the appealing thumbnail would be the best written character. It's like, well, you know, let's learn about the best written character in it. And you know, I watched it and I was like, you know, it's a very interesting, you know, it sort of like taught me a lot about sort of thinking about characters and that sort of thing. I like to think about my own characters and you know, like stories and that sort of thing. Like if I were to write a story, if I were to create a story of some sort, how would I write the characters, etc., etc. And you know, I'm not someone who's taken any sort of like creative writing or any sort of like literature classes of that sort of thing, so I don't really know much about writing stories in that sense. But I thought like it was very interesting. This person's very good at Savage Books, as I say, is very good at sort of breaking down his knowledge and having it be consumable in a digestible way, that even as someone like me who hadn't really watched a show, I was like, I could really appreciate it. And you know, basically it was a fantastic advert for BoJack Horseman, and you know, I watched it and I was like, this seems like my sort of show. So, well, I'm not going to say it's a perfect match, I suppose. I think most people would probably agree that it seems a bit dark and cynical, perhaps for exactly my tastes of show, that sort of thing. But, you know, I do like dark and melancholic and sad things entwined with shows, you know? Or any media property, I should say. Sorry, my throat. I mean, art in general, I think art is most effective when it can invoke some sort of emotion, whether that be good emotions or bad emotions, because that really sort of, I suppose, lets you reflect upon yourself and challenge your own viewpoint, etc., at certain points. I'm sorry, Vivian, sort of cutting in line and, you know, taking the capping trip. I know you wanted to go on it, but my apologies. So, you know, at some point, I absolutely want to watch a show, BoJack Horseman, but I feel like I should have like a bit of like a time capsule, because it's a thing I talked about again before, you know, again referencing past videos, that I said with Star Wars, where I was like, I wish before I watched the original Star Wars trilogy, I wrote down what I thought the plot of Star Wars was, so then it'd be something hilarious to look back on. Because it's amazing how many shows you sort of like learn about us through osmosis. It's not actually osmosis, of course, and any biologist will correct me on that, but it's sort of just like people like to use that as a phrase. I don't really know why. But it's amazing how much information I can learn about like a series or show or any sort of movie from my throat. I don't know what's wrong with me. I suppose maybe like acid reflux is acting up. About a show just sort of like by passively consuming surrounding material related to the property rather than actually watching it itself. And I'm in a very interesting position where I spend some time on social media, that sort of thing. I can consume a lot of this like extraneous like information made around the show, but I've never actually consumed a lot of these like shows or media properties themselves. So, and also tied together with my good memory, it helps me to be in this awesome position where I can probably give very amusing recounts to people about what I think a show's about without actually not ever seeing the show. And I'm sure it'll be very amusing to people who have seen or consumed these media properties to hear what my perspective is on what I think certain things are about. So, you know, I guess I'll try and just sort of do that for like the next half an hour and 22 minutes about certain very popular media properties. So BoJack Horseman. Well, BoJack Horseman's a bit harder because I sort of know bits and pieces now from the video, but not like, I'm not that well versed. So I'll tell you, I'll try and do it from perspective of what I knew from before watching a video. Is I knew there was BoJack Horseman is about this horse man called BoJack. I think he's like a drunkard, or he's like he's someone who's like been through rehab. I don't know. He's someone who's fallen on hard times, and you know, now I know from like a video he was like an ex-actor or something who's basically fallen on hard times, and he's kind of like a problematic character in certain ways. And I know that's, I kind of knew that before. Like he's someone who's basically been through a lot of troubles, but also is like quite, you know, trouble-inducing or causes problems in himself. And it's sort of about him and his misadventures. I'm not really sure if misadventures, right? But him and his development in his story or whatever. And I suppose him wrestling with being like an ex-actor. You know, maybe like how sometimes like with stardom, like production of media, you know, like a Hollywood sort of atmosphere can really like ruin that celebrity life can really ruin people or whatever. And I guess I don't know if it's meant to be a sad show or a happy show. I don't know. Princess Caroline seems like she got like a reasonably happy ending out of all of it, I suppose. No, I think it's very you because I can't bother to think of anything. I can't really remember what details was said in the video. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I was too focused on like the overarching character story, and I was like, oh, interesting. Yeah, and I don't know then how like his falling from stardom. I don't know. Maybe it ends up sadly, or like maybe it's like about his redemption arc. Maybe that's a whole BoJack Horseman thing. I don't really know. But that's BoJack. He's got some friends. One of them, which I suppose now is Princess Carolyn or Caroline. Is it Caroline or Caroline? Oh yeah, I forgot. I need to check a campsite and see who's actually in there. She's like a go-getter. She's a girl boss. She's like all work. You know, not really no play, but little play or whatever. And well, I know her story arc. I'm not really going to spoil it for you, that sort of thing. But honestly, that's basically the extent of my knowledge I knew beforehand. I know he's got other friends. I know there's a dog in the show. Well, to be fair, I don't actually know the relationships with BoJack Horseman that well. From what I gathered, I think the dog's like his best friend or something. His name's like Mr. Peanut or something. I can't remember. It's like a really cutesy name, I remember. And it's something to do with food. It's like, oh, maybe it's Mr. Butterscotch. That sounds more... No, does that sound right? I don't know. It's something along those lines. I don't know. He's a dog. I don't really know much about him. He looks like a happy, very affable gentleman. I know there's a lot of humans in the show, but I don't remember who humans are more particularly well. I know some were referenced in my video or whatever, but their names escape me. I know, they're important in some way, and I don't know, that's it's not very descriptive because I don't really remember much about BoJack Horseman now. Because it's a difficult thing where you probably shouldn't watch a video analysis about a media property when you haven't consumed a media property, because a lot of the context like doesn't really quite make sense to me necessarily. And you know, I also assume that I probably can't appreciate it in its greatest sense without being able to properly, you know, without having actually watched it. So that's the sort of thing. I know there's like some humans. I know BoJack has bad relationships with some of them, or all of them maybe. I'm not really sure. There's a lot of drinking. It's quite an adult show, I would certainly say. That's all I can gather from it. I don't know. It's going through their corporate lives maybe a little bit. I don't know if it's really a sitcom. It seems more like a sit drama or anything. Well, I guess it's a drama now I think about it in certain aspects, but also kind of comedic as well. But, you know, they go through very dramatic things. So that's basically all I really know about BoJack Horseman, to be perfectly honest. But, okay, let's try and do some other things. Hold on. Oh, Game of Thrones is an interesting one. Actually, now I think about it. Game of Thrones, I don't really know, but it's in a land. I can't even remember what the land's called. I'm going to be perfectly honest off the top of my head. But it's in a land, there's like dragons like exist, it's like some sort of medieval fantasy, there's a load of different houses, I think they're at war or something. There's Arya Stark, the Stark house. That makes it sound like a sitcom, it's a Stark house. There's the Starks, there's other people, there's a lot of like assassinations, there's a lot of gratuitous adult scenes, I've heard. There's Joffrey. He's like a tyrant or something. Oh man, everyone hates this Joffrey kid or whatever because he's like the worst person in existence or something. There's like Jon Snow. Something about winter. Oh, is it like Winterfell or something? That sounds right. Is that right? I know there's that meme that winter is coming and everyone hates the finale. That's basically what I know about Game of Thrones. Can I think of any more characters? Tyrion Lannister. And what's that woman called? Daenerys, I think? I don't know who they are, I'm going to be honest. I don't know what any of her roles. I don't know, Daenerys kind of looks like a princess to me, so I'm going to assume she's like the princess of some house. Tyrion, I don't know, he's like... He just seems like a cool dude. Maybe he's like the queen's like right-hand lady... right-hand man or something. I meant to say... I don't really know what else. I know there's actually quite a few. That's a legitimate one, isn't it? We don't need it because we already have a duplicate legitimate one, so we're just here to buy furniture items because I believe these might be customized versions. I don't really know about Game of Thrones. I don't know what the overarching plot is. My assumption's been this entire time is that all the factions are just sort of like at war with each other. You know, speaking of which, we should probably buy the furniture items from Nooks as well, but I just kind of forget about it. They're at war with each other, and they're trying to be like the house which rules everything. Maybe I don't know really if that's true. I don't know who's good. I don't know who's evil. Maybe it's one of those that everyone's sort of in the grey morality sort of thing. And I don't know. I feel like these sort of segments will probably be better for someone who basically has watched the media property being like, what do you think this is? What do you think X is? What do you think Y or Z is? I don't know, because it was back in university, like my housekeeper, she loved the show and watched it, and that was around the time I think the final season was airing, and I was talking to her about it because I was just like, oh man, I don't watch the show, but all I can see online is that people are like hating this final season, and then like, I remember she hadn't watched the final episode yet or whatever, so I was like, oh, tell me about it after you watch it. Oh, Violet, right? And then, you know, I remember like I saw her the next day and I was like, oh, did you watch the finale? What do you think of it? And she was like, well, dear, it was not good. I was like, oh no. But anyway, I don't know. But I'm not sure if I should find it amusing. I guess it's kind of heartbreaking, but it's sort of amusing of how big a car crash it was, I suppose, the entire sort of Game of Thrones series, because, you know, it's all you would hear about, I suppose, from like, what's the final season? Season 8? Season 7? I don't know, whatever. The up to the penultimate series, like, it's all you'd hear about online. And then the final season, people are just like, what on earth is going on? This sucks. And I've never seen, like, the public opinion, I suppose, of a TV show change so quickly from absolute adoration to this is the worst thing ever. It's like, how did they ruin it so badly? I don't know. I have no idea how it happened. But still, I mean, it happened nonetheless. So what can you say? But anyway, that's all I really know about Game of Thrones. I don't really know much else. I know it's fancy. I don't know if there's really magic in it or anything, because I don't think I've ever seen magic in it. I think people just sort of attack with like swords and that sort of thing. That's a very reductive way to talk about it, of course. But people just like attack with swords. Winter is coming. Oh, there's some. You know, I never really thought about this, because there's this guy called the Ice King, right? I never really put two and two together. That's probably the evil guy, isn't he? And I never really thought about it. But that's probably like, I guess that's what all the factions are. You know, they're sort of like fighting each other, trying to fight the Ice King. And whatever he's doing, I don't really know what he's doing. And I'm going to be honest, I don't really know much else. Winter is coming, yo. I guess maybe that's the Ice King. Wow, I've never actually thought about all of this together. I feel like I'm learning more about Game of Thrones, or making false connections. I don't really know. What other things would be interesting to talk about? It's difficult to think of off the top of my head of stuff. That is popular, that I haven't read, but people would find amusing to hear me talk about. Like Harry Potter, I obviously can't talk about because I've actually read the books of Harry Potter. Lord of the Rings is a bit more difficult because I've not seen the movies. I've seen one of the movies. I don't remember it in the slightest. But I read the books. But I also don't remember the books very well. But I sort of remember them vaguely enough. And you would be like, you read the books but you haven't seen the movies? Yeah. And just to make it even weirder, I read the books when I was in primary school. Which you might be like, wow, this is some dense books for a primary schooler to read. Primary school being elementary school, for you US-minded folk out there. US-minded folk sounds so weird. I don't know why I said it like that. But yes, I read it in primary school mainly, and I don't know why. I think I enjoyed it, but I feel like I remember enjoying it, but also found some bits of it to be a bit of a slog. I guess because it was just quite dense for me at that age, you know. I wasn't quite old enough to appreciate it necessarily. So yeah, I can't really talk about it. Star Trek. What do I know about Star Trek? Captain Picard and Spock and Data and some other people. I don't know. They're on a crew. I just kind of thought it was like a sci-fi, not sitcom, but like a sci-fi series. So they basically go to another world and something happens. They resolve what happens, and then, you know, they go to another world next time. That's kind of what I've assumed happens all the time in Star Trek, but I don't really know. To be perfectly honest, and I'm sure there's much more like overarching plots. I don't know what the overarching plot is. I don't know if it is like a big bad, an evil villain or something that people dislike. I was meant to customize and sell things. Oh well. I guess we'll go hit rocks, sell things and customize. Wait, do we have enough things to sell? I'm not sure if there's enough to sell. Let's get some more fruit so we can sell that. What's some popular series? Hold on. Let's just Google it. Popular series. I'll tell you what I know about them. Most popular series. Stranger Things. Oh, Stranger Things is a good thing because I know very little about this. I know there is a load of kids, and it's got something to do with Dungeons and Dragons. I don't really know what else. Apparently, Vecna was in the latest series, which is wild, and I didn't know it was literally about Dungeons and Dragons. Actually, I can't. I guess I shouldn't say if it's literally about Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know, but it's kind of thing like paranormal things happens to these group of kids. I don't really know what we do. I guess I try and stop it happening. I know a demigorgon appears in one of the things. I know we're on season 4. People really like it, and I don't really know much else about it. I guess it's sort of just like the kids trying to stop what happens, the happenings of what's going on. I kind of, in my mind, I've always pictured it to be kind of like It, the movie, but except for slightly less horror focused and more sort of like action-y. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. I don't know if that's misleading, but that's always how I've imagined it in my mind. Yeah, no, Vecna appears, the Demigorgon appears. I don't know, I guess they've defeated them, probably. I don't know what else, to be honest. Umbrella Academy. Umbrella Academy is a load of kids who go to an academy. I have seen stuff about it, like trailers and things. I can't remember. I remember Elliot Page. He's like one of the main leads. They all have powers. The only power I remember off the top of my head is I had a rumor. And it's sort of like mind control. I didn't realise we could do it with axe. We should definitely be doing this more with an axe, because there's to get the golden axe you need to break a certain amount of axes. So we should probably be hitting these rocks with axes more than with a shovel. I don't really know what the plot is in Umbrella Academy. I guess they probably try and stop and cosmic things from happening. Are they I don't know. It always struck me as they were kind of like superheroes, but kind of like it was more like a dark and gritty superhero sort of TV series. But they're trying to do good or something. But it's sort of like it's got a dark and depressing feel about it. That show. I don't remember much else. Oh, there's a little kid in there who's actually like 100 years old or something, and he can like teleport. Oh, no, wait. He can jump through space-time, something like that. That sounds about right. Why am I in here? I don't know. Let's go. Moon Knight. I literally know nothing about Moon Knight. I cannot tell you. I just know it's a Marvel property. I guess he's a superhero. Most popular series past decade. Maybe we should do that. Better Things Never Heard Of. Good Place. This is about someone who has gone to like heaven or something. Yeah, sure. Is it me or are villagers inviting us round to their house far more often than they used to? I don't know. This is about a woman who has ended up going, being in heaven. I can't remember if she's actually meant to. I think she's not meant to be there or something. And then, I don't really know. I think it's like a sitcom, isn't it? She goes to heaven. I don't remember if she's actually dead or not. Or she's like in some sort of heaven place where everything's like perfect or something, and then it turns out things aren't that perfect. That's all I really know about it. I don't know if that's right. Higher. Probably. Oh, yeah, hold on. IMDb's got top TV shows of the past decade. Let's see what it is. Game of Thrones. Okay, done Game of Thrones. Leftovers. Literally never even heard of. Breaking Bad. It's about a guy who turns to selling drugs. I think it's because someone he knows has cancer. I'm not really sure. I guess it takes place in America, so you know, I guess that makes sense with privatization of healthcare and all that. Or why he has to, you know, raise up so much money, and then it's sort of like him being tangled in with like that seedy underground stuff, or the criminal doings about things, and then how his life sort of like falls apart or something. I don't know. It's sort of like his misadventures in the criminal underworld is basically all I really know about Breaking Bad. Better Call Saul. I literally know nothing about Better Call Saul. Is it a sitcom? That's all my assumption is what I know. In fact, well, it's got the label crime and drama, so I don't think so. Westworld. This is the one where it's like they're in a theme park with a load of androids who think they're human or something, and I think it's meant to be like some sort of commentary on like AI. But that's all I really know about it. Oh no, wait, no, hold on. I'm trying to remember because my friend told me a bit about it once, but I really don't remember off the top of my head very well. Is it like the theme park is shut down or something? It's like a rundown theme park, and some people are just sort of, I don't really know what they're doing there. I guess they're vibing out or something. And it's all about their stories in there. I know there's plot summaries next to each of these things. I'm not reading them just through choice, because I feel like it's more entertaining if I don't get any sort of priming. Succession, I literally never even heard of. Mr. Robot, this is about Rami Malek. He's like a cyborg or something, and I don't know, he's like a hacker, I think. All my descriptions are, this is a misadventures of this guy in, you know, this scenario. It's like, it's a bit vague. The Crown, I don't know. I assume it's about, you know, like a British family or something. Dark. All I know about this is like, isn't this German or something? I literally have no clue what it's about. Except for I assume it's meant to be quite dark. Watchmen. I know it's like a comic book series or something. I don't really know much else about it. Chernobyl. I assume it's about Chernobyl. You know, and the nuclear power plant explosion, and I assume people's lives and how it affected it. Oh, not a shovel. I just customized a shovel. Yeah, I don't really know what else. Sharp Objects. Never heard of Fargo. I thought Fargo was a movie. I didn't know it was a TV series. Oh, all I know is like it takes place in some like very rural, snowy area, and someone like dies because they were like put through a wood chipper or something, which is utterly horrific if you think about it. But I think it's a horror anyway. Veep, never heard of. Shameless, never heard of. Atlanta, never heard of. Attack on Titan, it's an anime. I know this one because I've actually watched the first episode of this one. It's what's his name, like Aaron or something. It's set in the future, maybe. I don't actually know, where like these giant enemies called Titans roam the lands and, you know, eat humans, and then there's like a squadron, which I can't remember what they're called, like the Peace Corps or something, and they're tasked with basically defeating the Titans to make sure that their city, which is being surrounded by walls, is not like defeated or anything. Is this series over now? I'm not sure if the anime's over, but is the manga over now? It must be by now, surely. It's been years. Okay, that's not necessarily how things work, but you know what I mean. It's like, it's very old. He's got friends. He got Mikasa, who is emotionless. He's got what's his name? Armin, who's a person. he's there. I don't really know. I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, they're like childhood friends or something. We're like, wow. We're all going to join the Peace Corps together. And they do, I think. And then, I don't know, I just remember a load of his classmates dying in the first episode because the wall was, like, breached. Sorry, I guess episode 1 spoilers. Which, to be fair, didn't expect. I was like, whoa. Didn't expect him to go this hard in the first episode. Oh no, he has a sick opening. Star Wars Rebels. Literally don't know. I guess it just takes place in the Star Wars universe. I cannot tell you who it's even about. BoJack Horseman, just told you about it. Should watch it. Rick and Morty. I've actually seen a couple of episodes of Rick and Morty. It's just like a sci-fi comedy. It's like grotesque in some ways and it's weird in some ways, but it's quite clever in some ways as well, I like to think. And maybe not like 200 IQ or whatever that copy pasta is clever, but it's amusing. It's about Rick, who's, as far as I can tell, like an absolutely horrible, you know, kind of like a horrible person in many ways, and like his relationship with his grandson, yeah, and like, you know, Rick's a scientist. He comes up with all these inventions. They go to another planet. Something weird happens, and then they go back, and you know it's meant to be quite amusing. You might ask, what series did? Not series. What episodes did you watch of Family Guy? I actually don't remember off the top of my head what episodes I've seen of not Family Guy, of Rick and Morty. I legitimately don't remember what ones I've seen. They didn't really stay. Like, I thought they were entertaining, but I think after watching it, I was like, this is not my show. Or this is very clearly not my sort of show. So then I just didn't watch anymore. Not to say I didn't enjoy it, but it was just like, you know, there's so many other shows I should watch first, which are more up my alley. I mean, I just didn't. Big Little Lies, never heard of. House of Cards. I think there's like a business one or something. I don't really know. Barry, never heard of. Daredevil. Superheroes. Vikings, don't know. Mildred. I haven't heard of most of these. Legion, Peaky Blinders. I know it's set in England. That's all I really know. Obviously, it's true. I haven't heard of any of these. Fleabag, what on earth's that? The Good Place. Stranger Things. Oh, this is someone else's custom things. This is someone else's own created list of their favourite TV shows. Okay, hold on. IMDb. TV shows. Most popular TV shows. Wait. Top 250 TV shows. That's what I should be doing it by. Planet Earth. Documentary. I've seen bits and pieces from it. Thought it was pretty good. Breaking Bad talked about Planet Earth again. Band of Brothers, don't know. Chernobyl. The Wire, don't know anything about it. Avatar: Last Airbender, Aang and his crew go on to save the world and, you know, discover elemental bending. Sopranos, I think that's a sitcom. A multi-world at war, Full Metal Alchemist. There's a load of wild and crazy things happening in the world of alchemy. You know, you got to give something to get something. That's all I really know. Like Sherlock, that's a Sherlock Holmes, isn't it? Twilight Zone. It's like the 1950s, I suppose, version of Black Mirror. Arcane, fantastic show. Firefly, yeah, a lot about Firefly. I don't know much about it. I didn't know IMDb had anime. I guess that makes sense. Taskmaster, that's a fun one. Anyway, close all of this. But so yeah, media osmosis. It's amazing how many things you sort of learn about certain shows, despite the fact that you've never actually seen them. So yeah, I'm going to round off this episode here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Any likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me, Dear Darling Discord. Follow me on Twitter down below. Hope we can see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time. And hello, Sugar. Bye bye for now.